All right, this is an interesting topic. Please watch all of it. Why does God allow a hindering spirit? Now, the first thing I want to make clear is in the New Testament, the phrase hindering spirit, I'd have to do this backwards. Hindering spirit is not found. However, there is an example where Paul talked about being hindered, and there was a spirit or a satanic angel that was doing that. I want to say up front, having dealt with these types of spirits from the very beginning of my ministry, about 18 years of age through actually the 46 years off and on of my ministry. This particular spirit is assigned to harass a person. It is assigned to stop a person's progress. It is assigned to hinder the gospel. Now, they did it to Paul by having him arrested in so many cities where he would go into the prison and spend days and weeks in prison to the point that he could not minister to the people in public to see those people saved. Paul's effective ministry was when he was outside ministering or in a synagogue ministering, and miracles would begin to happen in the town. Then the whole town would convert. So the enemy set him up by people attacking him to have him arrested for different reasons, breaking the law, breaking the Jewish law. There was a lot of different things that they said to get him arrested. And when he went to the prison, he was unable to minister fully. So this was a part of the hindering spirit. Now, he did say this, I would have come to you once, yes, twice, but Satan has hindered us. And man, when I read Paul's life in the book of Acts and some of the things he writes in the epistles and so on, I don't know how the guy did it. I don't know how the guy made it. I don't know how he had the strength, but that's what we're going to talk about in just a minute or two. 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 9. Paul says this, lest I would be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan, to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Now, this word messenger is the Greek word for angel, and the word buffet here means to hit and deal one blow after another. I heard a scholar say one time it means like in a boxing match, you stand up, you're doing good, you get clipped on the ear, you fall down, you get back up, clipped on the side of the face, fall back down. So it actually means to knock off your feet, to knock off your feet. Now, it can also mean to physically slap and hit, because the same Greek word is used when it says they buffeted Jesus or they slapped him on the face at his trial. So when you look at Paul's situation, and I'm going to tell you a really crazy story in a minute. When you look at Paul's situation in 2 Corinthians 11, he lists 22 things that hindered him. Many of those things were connected to either circumstances, like a shipwreck, or people who hated him. And the people who hated him and his preaching, or maybe they were Judaizers and they thought that he was coming against the law, or whatever the case may be, those were the people that gave him the most difficult time. So you need to understand this, that Satan will use his spirit beings or circumstances, or will motivate people to do certain things to create a hindrance for you. Okay? Now, I want everybody, please listen to this story. Don't cut this off or cut it short. In 1981, and I'm going to tell this, and you got to hear the end of it though, okay? In 1981, at the Bob White Boulevard Church of God in Pulaski, Virginia, I was preaching a revival that ended up going 4.5 weeks. In the second week of the revival, I was staying in an evangelist apartment, which we did not have cell phones. There was no phone in the apartment. That was crazy. So it was very different than it is today. I would go to bed with a light on in the bathroom, and across the hall was the little bedroom. And I'm sleeping, and I wake up and hear someone trying to get into the church. I don't know how many feet away, but I could hear the door, and I thought, well, that's weird. You normally can't hear people trying to get in the door. And they were like jingling the door. Then they came in, I heard the door slam. I said, uh-oh. And I had a little digital glow-in-the-dark watch, and it was like close to 3 a.m, and I thought, okay, something's happened. Someone's passed away. So I'm getting ready to wait for someone to knock on the door, maybe the pastor, someone from the church, an elder. And then I heard this person, whoever it was, go to the place where the janitor kept all the supplies. And they opened the door. I'm thinking, surely the janitor at 3 a.m. is not going to start vacuuming. Come on, I'm trying to sleep. Then I heard someone jiggling the door. Now I'm thinking, how come they're not knocking? Why are they coming in with the key? So I'm about to, pardon my expression, freak out right now. So I get up and I get ready to brace myself because I don't know who this is. The door slow. Now, I'm not sleeping. I'm totally awake, but I'm lying on the bed. I can see through the light coming in. I can see the hallway. And God bear me record on the day of judgment. I saw a spirit 4 foot tall that looked like an Egyptian mummy wrapped in cloth that was carrying 2 garbage bags over his shoulder. And it walked past my door and I thought, oh my God, what am I seeing? And I heard it just tearing the apartment up. I'm hearing this. I'm awake. I hear it. All my 5 senses are alert. And then as it comes back through without the garbage bags, it turns its head and looks in. And I'm telling you, I know this sounds funny now because when I've told it to groups, they laugh. I didn't want it to think I saw it. So I'm over here faking like I'm asleep. I pull up the cloth and I'm looking in my eye, but I'm thinking maybe it thinks thinks I'm asleep because I didn't want it coming in the room, and I am terrified. And I listen, and it goes to the pastor's office, opens up file cabinets. All this is happening within 10 minutes or so, or at least it appeared to be about that length of time. Then it goes up to the pastor's council room, and I can hear, and you normally can't hear this. That's what's so weird. Like in the spirit, you can see deeper, see further, or you can hear things that you normally can't hear. So I guess my spiritual eyes and spiritual ears were open. That's the only way to explain why I saw this. So it stayed in the pastor's council room. All right. Out of that meeting arose a internal conflict in the church over the fact that the meeting they shut the meeting down, and many people wanted to go on. There was 154 people saved and like 75 baptized in the Holy Spirit. It was the greatest meeting in history of the church up till that point. And what I did not know till 10 years later, now I want you to listen to this, and I found this out from people who were drug dealers in the county, actually in 3 counties, Wythe County, the area of Blacksburg, Christiansburg, Pulaski, all that area there, 3 different counties. Now listen, my revival was having such results in the school and the college, Radford University. There was the night when 450 high school kids showed up, and I laid hands on every one of them, and God touched every one of them, not because of me, but because of the power of God that was there. And the drugs in 3 counties were being shut down. And so I'm not going to go into the details, but one of the leading drug dealers said, we've got to get rid of Perry Stone. And how do we get rid of Perry Stone? And I'm not going to tell you the plot they used and what they used. It wasn't with me taking drugs, by the way. If you don't go into your imagination. I'm trying to abbreviate this because it's very detailed. So I found out that what had happened was that the enemy was threatened by what God was doing. So in order to shut it down, he wasn't going to get me to leave. He didn't make me physically sick. He used other methods to try to shut it down. And 25 years later, I contacted a very precious older pastor's wife, and her husband was the pastor at that time, and wrote about a 3 or 4 page letter explaining all this. And it kind of blew her mind. She says, oh my goodness. And she really wished I would have told her that, many years before. Anyway, I went back there and preached for years, and one of my favorite places. I have a lot of friends up there. These folks already know. They've heard me tell this story before. Here's what I want to say. Paul said this, that because of the abundance of revelation, God allowed there to be a hindering spirit. Now, I don't understand it, but Paul did say, lest I should be exalted above measure. You may not have a situation right now, but God might see a situation coming in the future. So in order to protect you, he allows really weird negative circumstances to come to help get you to the place where you need to be, or, and this is true, he creates a situation to get people out of your life that should not be in your life whatsoever. And it can be other reasons as well. Sometimes it's for your own protection. A hindering spirit can come to prevent pride. Paul said that, lest I should be exalted above measure. Number 2, it can create a testing for you, similar to the story of Job, in which you're going to have to learn to exercise patience. Number 3, God allows it many times. Now, this is important. Some of your most difficult battles that you think you're not going to survive happens before the biggest breakthrough. And so the Lord is allowing you, I know this sounds crazy, to be humbled before Him, to be dependent on Him, to be weeping for Him. Because when that big breakthrough comes, it's going to come after the biggest battle you've been through. So some of you right now are in a very heavy, weird battle, and you know it's satanic, and you know it's not just a normal thing, because if it's not natural, it's supernatural. Hold on. Do your best to get a prayer group, prayer team. Get your best friends around you that love you. Hold on. Because at some point down the road, and this has been my experience in 47 years, God gives you a breakthrough and He's preparing you with humility to receive it so that you won't be exalted above measure. And so the key to all of this, and let's say this, the key to these spirits, the key to any attack is what Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12. He said this, I asked the Lord 3 times for this thing to leave me alone, but God said to me, my grace is sufficient. Now that Greek word grace is charis, and it's where we get the word charismata and charisma, but what it actually refers to is also translated in the New Testament as favor. God's favor is sufficient for me. So I want to say to you right now, if you are in a struggle or a battle and you've said, God, help me, get me out of this or whatever, but you're still in it, I want you to begin to pray to God with me. God, let your grace hold me up. Let your grace cover me, and let your grace see me through this. And that's the key. That's what Paul prayed. My grace is enough. My grace is sufficient. So Paul finally said, I'll glory in all my troubles as long as the power of Jesus is resting upon me. So don't be afraid of these spirits. They've been around from the beginning. They're still around. They're always going to be around. They're always going to be harassing somebody. But just remember, God's grace will see you through if you won't give up and if you won't quit. As many times as you felt like doing that, try your best not to do it. Get your friends to hold your hands up till the battle's over. Thank you for joining me. Now, if you learned something you didn't know, I want a thumbs up. I want to see a thumbs up right up there. Now, many of you have noticed that we've cut off our comments on our YouTube channel, and that is because I don't have the time to read them, and I feel so bad when you've commented such wonderful things. Many of you have questions, but we don't have a staff that's large enough to answer it. So probably from here on out, we're not going to put the comments up, but I do want to see the thumbs up because that lets me know you've been watching it and that you do appreciate the teaching. And so thank you so much for your prayers and support. And also, please watch what's about to happen and then see if you'd like to get this. God bless you. In 35 years of hosting the main event, which is America's yearly camp meeting, this year's gathering was declared by 4,000 attendees to be the best yet. I was inspired to release new prophetic downloads the Lord gave me, including messages exposing satanic plots that are now distracting you. All of the morning speakers shot the arrow of God's revelation right on target to help us through these difficult times. On the opening night, I unlocked the concealed prophetic message in the Jewish New Year 5782 and the coming Gregorian year 2022. I also detailed how the verse numbers in the Torah actually coincide with the exact Jewish year when these predictions occurred. You can see this on our DVD message. This is a stunning Hebraic revelation. There is a new demonic principality dominating American culture and politics that I expose in the message. The third Exodus, America is fighting the Ramses spirit. Ancient history is now repeating itself. Discover the strange and future ancient patterns now taking place across America. The message called Programming Americans to Accept the Mark of the Beast will explain how the masses are being set up right now to submit their freedoms to the global elitists who will use future pestilences, diseases, natural disasters, and food shortages in an attempt to seize control of economic power. Using details from ancient narratives, I'll walk you through the Bible and my own personal experiences in the message when Satan's ambush becomes your worst day. Satanic strategies work through personalities that create an hour of testing. Follow the playbook of the enemy, unlock his thinking, and discover how to reverse the decisions Satan has made against you and your family. My fifth message was a new message called Satan's Greatest Secret, Now Exposed. Folks, this is one message your adversary hopes you never hear. This revelation literally transformed my faith, my hope, and gave me strength in a time of great weariness. You have to hear this powerful word. Jensen Franklin preached it's time to write another chapter. Shut the book on your past and write a new future. After hearing this word from God, you will do just that. Tommy Bates came in a morning service and thrilled us with his faith-building message, The Angels Are Coming. The message, which also included incredible faith-building stories, brought thousands to their feet, weeping, rejoicing, and shouting. This message will set you free from fear and anxiety, without a doubt. Listen to the revelation by John Kilpatrick, What If? Prepare for the end-time deception. This astonishing expose is one of the most needed messages for the entire body of Christ in this season. Now you can order all of these 8 messages on CD or the DVD. The CDs are the unedited messages and the DVDs are also unedited. But the DVDs also include the PowerPoint pictures that you can see that I use. The CDs are $55 and the DVDs are $95 a set. They come in a beautiful album. The offer number for CDs is 21ME-CD. The DVD offer number, as you see on the screen, is 21ME-DVD. I want you to order right now at perrystone.org or call toll-free 1-888-21-BREAD. I promise you this will be one of the best set of messages you have heard in some time. Your purchase goes to Keep Manifest on the Air. I'm waiting to hear from you.